Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment on the weekend show. Now, elections are over and candidates who were aggrieved are now in courts. However, we've had this issue of the enemy within or the crisis within. Most of the parties during the elections and before it, we had internal struggles within the PDP. We also had within the APC. But in recent times, we've had more about the Labour Party, where there's the Lamidi Papa faction and there's also the Julius Abure faction. We also have a gentleman who was an initial contestant, who was an aspirant under the Labour Party, who intended to run for the position of president under the Labour Party. However, since Peter Obi joined the party, and for some reason he was no longer the candidate. We've had him on the show where he has shared his opinions before, but we're bringing him back to speak about his thoughts on the internal crisis within the Labour Party, specifically because we have seen recently he had done a release about how he anticipated some of this happening. Good morning, Oluwadare Joseph is joining us
Good
virtually.
morning, sir. And good morning, madam. How are we doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Good,
So
thank you.
welcome back. We had you on the show before the elections where you also had some grievances, and now we're seeing certain things play out within the Labour Party, and we thought it fair to hear your thoughts about the internal issues within the Labour Party as it is today.
Thank you very much for having me on the show today. Like you rightly introduced, I'm Faduri Oluwadare Joseph, the former president aspirant on the Labour Party. The crisis that we have in Labour Party today, it's as a result of lack of leadership from the flag bearer of the party, which is His Excellency Peter Obi. Because once you become a party's flag bearer, you automatically become the leader of the party. And if you're the leader of the party, then you must do everything possible to put your house in order. But I'm afraid of his slogan of competency and capacity in the way that Labour Party has been rocking the boat, not just the present crisis, but even since he became the flag bearer of the party. It has been one crisis to the other, one crisis to the other, and without leadership in play. So it shows that if we have leadership that is in control of the party, I don't think that we should get our party into a mess to the level we are today. And also presently, if we're in court, we're in tribunal fighting for justice, fighting for rule of law, then we also should also obey one. We all know, as a matter of fact, that in the public domain that the present the Abure chairman is restrained from parading himself as chairman. Not only himself, the secretary, and two other officers. So what that means is that those offices cannot be left in vacuum. And the constitution of the party states that the next in line should act on behalf of the chairman until those cases are settled, whether they are wrong, whether they are right, whether the allegations that are not true. But until those cases are determined and is found not to be guilty, then the courts has restrained him from becoming from parading as a chairman. So the right thing is for us to obey the rule of law. Because if we are not obeying the rule of law within our party system, and we are fighting for rule of law to give us a mandate, then we are a joke somewhere. Because what is happening now is nothing new. In PDP, IU was removed, and the man, obeyed law, and everybody moved on. APC chairman, Somali, when he was chairman, was removed also, and everybody obeyed the law. But now we are disobeying the law to suit us, and we also want the same law to give us our mandate. So I don't know how people are seeing it. I think it's out of sentiment and taking advantage of Nigerian people. The Nigerian people, want Labour Party anyway, wants the candidate to win. But I would have expected our candidate who is fighting for rule of law, who claims to be upholding rule of law, to say no. There's a law, there's a rule of law from court. Let's obey that until it is overturned. So it is unfortunate. It is out of leadership, lack of leadership, that is rocking, our party. And I hope that someday we'll get it right.
So, what suggestions do you have for His Excellency Peter Obi in regards to all of this? Because you said he's not doing what is supposed to be done. So what is it that's supposed to be done in this situation, or what would you suggest?
What I would suggest for him is, of course, he can call these parties together. First and foremost, the party of Alhaji Lamidi Apapa, is the Abure party. He can bring all of them together. That's what makes you a leader. It's let's agree to disagree or disagree to agree. Alhaji Lamidi Apapa is doing the constitutional right of assuming the acting office because of the court order restraining Abure. So if you, as the flag bearer of the party, as the leader of the party, then you bring the two together and see how we can reconcile issues. What is happening here? What is happening here? Lamidi Apapa is not acting on his own. He's acting based on the rule of law. But right now, we cannot be in court fighting for rule of law and within our party against the rule of law. So if you are the flag bearer, that you're fighting for your mandate and we're all joining you, then show to the world, show to the public that you are upholding rule of law. That is the only way then people can take you more seriously. Okay, this man is competent, is capable, and can run a country. But if the crisis is going up and down and you are aligning yourself with illegality, then how do we just oppose that with what we have going on in tribunal? If we are supporting illegality, so what happened tomorrow? If tribunal says, okay, Peter Obi wins the election and APC refuse, to yield, so are we going to be able to blame them if we right now are parading ourselves in illegality? So we must be careful of what we put down. We must follow rule of law so that when it's time that we're going to fight for one, that we can fight with our food. So Exceptional Peter Obi should please do the right thing, bring the parties together, but in the meantime, obey rule of law that vacate or that restrain Abure for now. So when the issue is determined and Abure is restored back, that's fine. We will continue from there. But not for us to continue in illegality and say it's okay.
So, thank you for that. But just for a bit of fact checking and clarification, the case which the Lamidi faction had brought up was subject to questions about the jurisdiction of the court to restrain Julius Abure. Within the last 48 hours, we are aware that the case has now been moved to the appeal court, and so the status of Julius Abure remains as it is, which now nullifies the position on Lamidi Apapa. And so just so that we're clear about it, this was a statement released within the last 48 hours, which has given back legitimacy to the Abure faction. But that said, it's quite curious for some of us because one of the ringleaders with the Lamidi Apapa factions is Arabambi Abayomi, who has been on this show before, and most of these conversations started because he was saying most of them were left out of certain amounts of money that were shared. He also released a press release yesterday saying Peter Obi and Abure went and stashed $15 million away. It's also being said that Lamidi Apapa is trying to do this so that he gets lawyers who will now go and withdraw the Labour Party case from court. Just yesterday, there was a senior advocate who came to court representing the Lamidi Apapa faction and who also wanted to register appearance for Labour Party. And so this begs the question for the party, where is the interest of the party if within the party you have members of the party who are claiming to be leadership trying to scuttle the election tribunal process, also sponsoring people to file a case in Kano State to lose the legitimacy of all the Labour Party candidates? So doesn't this come off as selfish? And I agree when you say Peter Obi should be able to call them together and have conversations. But don't you see this act by this faction being very deadly to the party and to all the progress which the Labour Party has made within the last 1 year?
Thank you for that question. But if I may rebuke most of the things that you said there, they are mere allegations. They were not facts. To prove some of those things that the Alhaji Lamidi Apapa-led group was trying to withdraw any of what's going on in court. There was no fact or any fact even till now about that. They are all mere allegations. It's just like, give a dog a bad name so that you can hang it. So it's a propaganda, about this group, so that the Lamidi-led group can be seen to be working against, the progress of Labour Party. Don't forget that everything I'm still saying still boil down to leadership. In all of this crisis, the question is, where is His Excellency Peter Obi? What role is he playing to bring parties together? Everything is boiled down to him. If we have a leader who can say, okay, Lamidi Apapa, sit down, Abure, sit down. What are the problems we have? Because the bribing allegation that we have has been substantiated by even Nigerian police. With what happened in Ebonyi State, what happened in even Edo State, where the chairman came from. Also, do not forget that even the constituency of Abure suspended him. So all of these things, is the reason why we are here today, because of lack of leadership. If there has been leadership from the top, from the flag bearer of the party, in the person of Excellency Peter Obi, we will not be talking about what we're talking about today. We have crisis in APC. We have crisis in PDP. We have crisis in all these major parties. But what happened? Leadership was able to take, charge and resolve differences of, hearing individuals. But what is happening to Labour Party? From the beginning of the campaign to the end of campaign till now, it's one crisis or the other. So it is based on leadership of the man that wants to be Nigerian president. If it's capable, if it's competent, then he should be able to organize his house much better than we have it right now. And it will continue until it takes up leadership. It will continue, because if you watch the trend, every month, 1 or 2 months, it's one crisis or the other. And the problem has been selfishness and greediness on the part of politicians, from the Abure to all of them. This was the reason why now we're having all these issues. Money, the same thing they're blaming the APC and PDP for, they're also engaging in it. And that's why we're where we are today. But if we have leaders who can curb them, bring them to order, then we'll be able to have a party that will align in one position and follow through.
Thank you very much, Father Oluwadare Joseph, for sharing your thoughts. In order to ensure that this is balanced, we have the spokesperson of the Peter Obi presidential campaign with us here in the studio to discuss these issues and share his thoughts about the same case.
Yes. So we have Dr. Yunusa Tanko, who is the presidential chief spokesperson, Obi Datti campaign of the Labour Party. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, Nigeria, and good morning, Oluwadare.
Yes.
I will have excused Oluwadare for naivety and ill-informed in some of the statements that he just made this morning. And then I wouldn't want to link him up that he too is one of the paid agents to come and disparage the character of Peter Obi. But it is also good for me to also mention here that it seems that he is so much informed, or he's been briefed by the Lamidi Apapa group. But the question I really would have loved to ask him is that, has he ever sat down with Abure and listened to whatever his side of the story is? I'm sure he did not. If he did, he wouldn't have said some of the things that he said. Let me make reference to the proof that he's saying, or whether that there were proof that whether Lamidi Apapa tried to withdraw any of the cases in court. This is a letter written by Lamidi Apapa, and I read. Re-verification letter of instruction dated 15th March 2023. Purportedly signed by one Alhaji Umar Farouk Ibrahim, that is the President Secretary. The above refer kindly disregard the purported letter written by Alhaji Umar Farouk and Ibrahim Farouk, National Secretary of the Labour Party, restrained by FCT court, subsequently removed by the National Working Committee by the party for forgery, perjury, conspiracy. The National Legal Advisor of the party is empowered with the responsibility of engaging external solicitors to represent the party of handling such matter. You are representing Labour Party. Withdraw the petition number EPT RV HR 09-2023 pending before the Honorable Tribunal. The former council has been debriefed. Thank you for the anticipation cooperation. Yours faithfully, Alhaji Lamidi Apapa. I can share this letter with you. And this is written by Lamidi Apapa, who he is supporting to be in the interest of the party. And I may also want to inform him, 4 days ago, Peter Obi instructed, in a way, we have a meeting through his campaign manager to have a meeting and listen to these different people. What actually is their problem, if they have any admonition. So we had the meeting, the first meeting, we all agreed that there will not be any continuous attack in the interest of the party that they claim to support. On agreement, the next day we said we are going to meet again, and it was instructed that Lamidi Apapa should not present himself as any factional chairman of the party. It was agreed. Behold, the next morning he came to the court with interested and different individuals, laying claim and going straight to meet Akin Oshitokun, Chief Akin Oshitokun, where he was seated, and attacking him, telling him that he must move from that seat or he wants to join him by force, that he is the leader of the party. Now, for somebody who has been asked for a peaceful resolution by the principal, and we also agreed that the principal will be the one that will choose who will speak on behalf of the party, or at least present himself as the leader of the party, if he believed that he was doing it in the interest of Peter Obi. He didn't respect that particular agreement. He came to the court, and the end result is what you saw at that particular market space, when an old man decided to dance naked in the market space. Of course, the children would just clap and then allow him to dance. That was exactly what happened. So, saying that probably Peter Obi did not make any attempt whatsoever to make a reconciliational move, he did. But they actually renegated on that particular discussion, of peaceful discussion that was already done. And I also want to make a clarification. He mentioned that there was no evidence to show that probably there was somebody representing the interests of the APC. Here is the originating summon. I'm sure he's not aware. This is the originating summon of this particular group, Apapa, led by counsel called Mr. Let me read. Chief Ogu James Onoja. Chief Ogu James Onoja was the representative of the Lamidi Apapa group at the court. This is the originating summon. And the originating summon, making reference to what he said, that suspension of the Abure-led leadership at the ward level. Unfortunately, Larry, right, is his name, I don't think whether he read the constitution of the party that he claims to belong. And that is very disappointing. For a leader who you are aspiring to be the president, you must be able to read very well to know the constitution of the party. This is the originating summon. It said that Abure was suspended at his ward level. You cannot suspend the national chairman of the Labour Party from the ward. Article 17 of the Constitution say if you want to remove the chairman, you will have to call a national convention. A national convention specifically for that particular purpose. That is when you can remove the chairman. And let me also share knowledge with him that Labour Party is not like APC or PDP. Probably that is one of the things, the knowledge that he has. We don't remove our chairman from the ward level. It doesn't happen in the Labour Party. So please get acquainted with the constitution of the party so that you will be well informed. Then this particular same lawyer, this is the petition of the APC, response to the APC that we had in the court. And it is good also to inform you that Chief Ogu Onoja's son is a member of the legal team number 16 in that list. That is to show you that there is a connivance and conspiracy. They came, the APC, I'm saying it categorically here, that the APC is the one sponsoring this particular heinous crime against the interests of the Nigerian people. This same person came to court day before yesterday. He was called by the late counsel of the APC to appear with them at the court. Yes, some will say he's a professional person. He can take this particular, but the coincidency is too glaring for you to doubt that probably they were not being sponsored. And the Arabambi has made it clear that Dapo Abiodun, the governor of Ogun State, is his brother. And we have seen them both in flight in where he has raised his hands and all. So those are the people who are sponsoring them. And you want to ask, if not, how come can you say you are interested in your party and then you go all the way from here to Kano? We were not even briefed. We don't even know what was going on. And then the judgment was given. And interestingly, today or yesterday, the same judge has come out and said that they are quoting him out of context, that he did not give any order of removing Alex Oti. Yesterday at the same time, the court in Abuja, for information of Larry, that the court in Abuja, the learned judge, said also that who gave Apapa the mandatory order to say he's assuming the leadership of the party. His order did not say so. If there was any proof that gave Apapa the directive to go and become chairman of a Labour Party, I want the proof. There's none. What they were asking for was a restraining order based on the issue of forgery against Abure. And even that is a questionable one, because I have a document showing that the person claiming forgery did not, he was the one that signed the same letter in form that sent him to INEC as a candidate. If he's claiming that he was not the one, then definitely he's not the candidate of the party. So the idea of saying that probably that Apapa is the chairman of the Labour Party does not hold water. And this is my premises. If there was a directive, we are law-abiding citizens and we are Democrats, and almost all of us are unionists, and so we know law and order. There were two competent court of jurisdiction which give order, the one in Benin and that of the one in Abuja. And the one in Abuja expertly removed that particular expatriate order, and which Abure obeyed. If you notice, for an avoidance of doubt, Abure remained very calm and left his administrative duties to Ladi Ilia. He did not. It was only yesterday that he was even coming out. So saying that probably we did not obey law and order is completely wrong, unfounded. In fact, to say the truth, it is the Apapa group of people, we will not call them faction because we don't have faction, that are actually re-rolling and misleading the people and lying in the name of the court. Because the court did not give them any power whatsoever to assume duty. As I made it very, very clear today. And then when you look at, even if there were issues, it is behove on anybody to call the National Working Committee together and they will take a decision. The question is that, did Apapa did that before he pronounced himself as a leader of the party? Definitely no. So, Larry, you are very much wrongly informed, and you are making a misleading information this morning, and I want to advise that you go back and listen credibly to the facts of the matter, and so that you will know. If you have issues that probably why you feel that probably you lost out in becoming the candidate of the party, and you are interested in the interest of the party, I don't think those your statements will have been made this morning. It's quite disappointing.
So, Doctor, thank you for your statement. But before we give Oluwadare a right of rebuttal, I just want to state for regulation purposes,
yes,
that your opinions are your opinions and not the opinion of the Weekend Show and Africa Independent
Television. And I'm very
careful, so we don't get fined. But also, this is because the APC was also mentioned as being purportedly heading or leading this campaign against the party internally. But Oluwadare, Joseph, I think it's only fair that we give you a right of rebuttal now that you've heard
definitely I'd like to do that.
Doctor,
I want to say thank you for Mr. Farouk for all he has laid down. He painted a beautiful story of a man that doesn't know about what I'm saying. First and foremost, one of the problems that we have is that when people have opinions that are different from their opinion, then the problem is that person is being used by APC or PDP. That has been one of the problems I have with the Peter Obi movement from the beginning, that once you have an opinion that is different, or that you say, no, this is wrong, this is right, then it's, oh, the APC and PDP use people. If I want to have stopped Obi, I would have stopped him even before election. But I didn't do that. I have the interest of our country. I have the interest of my party at heart. I have a case with Labour Party and even Peter Obi that will come up in Federal High Court anytime from next week. So please, let's wait for that about even the candidacy. But that aside, now, in all you have said, these are allegations, that you just put out. I don't think those papers we are talking about are in public domain, because if they are in public domain, I'm not sure that even the press that you are with there will not have them in their hands. So I am talking based on information that are in public domain. I'm not in Nigeria, but I'm following every issues in our country, from the news to the court. So, like I said from the beginning, everything boils down to leadership. If leadership you're talking about of His Excellency Peter Obi has a hold and grip of that party, there will be no faction to the point of where we are today. And also, let me correct you, Nigerian constitution and political parties constitution are not far away from each other. APC chairman Adams Oshiomhole was suspended from his ward. IU PDP chairman was suspended from his ward. So I do not know how Labour Party constitution was different. That Abure was suspended and it is not in Labour Party. But that would be another question for another day. So that means it's now true. Now there might be a law that allow Abure to assume office back within the last 48 hours, but he was restrained by the same court. Couple of on April 5. If a chairman is restrained, the concern of the party is that the deputy chairman automatically, act as the acting. It does not mean he has to be appointed. It doesn't mean he has to be voted for. After then he will call for a next meeting, which was what they did in Bauchi. I am not here to support what is right or what is wrong or illegality, but for us to do the right thing. So if there are allegations against Abure and the court of Nigeria restrain him from parading himself as chairman until those things are determined, the onus is on the party to put someone to act as acting chairman. And that was what the Lamidi Apapa led group did. They didn't do anything to jeopardize the party. So in that case, what I expect, the leader of the party, Peter Obi, to do is to still bring the parties together. Everything still boiled out to him. You said he called them for a meeting. Well, we don't have that information in the public domain. And if he called for a meeting, the day in that meeting was precise of who to represent the party in the court. You didn't say that too. So there was nothing like that. So everything boils down to leadership of the party. If Peter Obi assumed the party leadership and able to reconcile all these issues with all these parties involved, we will not be where we are today. And if he's not still doing it, there will be more and more crises ahead of us. So I will call on you to get back to His Excellency, to assume and get a grip of the party, and make sure that he's able to control parties that are involved. There is no one, I will not support anyone withdrawing any case in court. As his case in court, then let the case get to conclusive conclusion. It's not for anybody to go and do that. If ABC is using them and you guys have the fact, make sure that the facts that are in public domain, not the one that are created, because Lamidi Apapa was on here 2 days ago on Arise on channels, and he rebutted all of these claims that you have just mentioned here today. So I will not support him. I will not agree with you if they are not in public domain or in court of law where we can get access to them. That is just what we are saying, so that we can give a dog a bad name, so that we can hang it. But the bottom line and the most important thing is that leadership is missing in our party. His Excellency is not doing enough to get a grip of the party. He should do his best to do that.
Thank
so
you
that
very much,
Oluwadare
Joseph, for joining us. And we wanted to get your opinion, but thank you for joining us. We are now returning back to the studio to have our interview with you regarding the political party, Labour Party, but also your candidates, who you are the spokesperson of his presidential campaign, and the process so far. I know you have some reply to this.
Yes, I just wanted to share knowledge with Oluwadare that did he know. That's why I said he's not well knowledgeable with the constitution of the party. Yes, if PDP and APC are having similarity in their constitution, that's what will confirm what we've always called them, that they are sesame strings. But in the case of Labour Party, they are different entirely. Please go back and read the constitution of the party. It's very, very clear. Article 17 is very clear on the removal processes of a chairman. It's not the same thing as APC or PDP, please. And then the issue of Apapa, let him know. I don't know whether he knows that Aburi has other deputies than Apapa. There's Ladi Ilia, there's Olorunfemi. So there is nowhere that says that it is Apapa. It could have been Femi, it could have been Ladi Ilia. So what they did was a coup d'etat. Because what they did was that the group themselves, yes, you have agreed person, then you now have, out of 7 of them, 2 or 3 of them are already suspended. So they didn't even form a quorum. And then announcing Apapa, under what leadership? If you are a leader in a party and you believe in leadership, everybody, including Aburi, should have been in the same meeting and say, look, Mr. Chairman, you've been accused of ABC. Can you prove us wrong? If not, then this is the court proceedings that says this. So in that case, we must obey the position of the court. All right? If there is a fair hearing, you cannot shave a man's head behind him. You will have called this meeting. Why would you go into the party secretariat and break the party secretariat? They broke the party secretariat, broke the lock and key, and entered. And you are gratifying that? If you're talking about following rules and regulation, how can you gratify that? They broke into the office, entered the office, and then institutionalized themselves. Who are you fighting? If you believe in the party itself, the most important thing that ought to have been done was call the meeting, including the chairman, and sit down and say, look, ABC had happened. What do we do next from here? It is from there that you will now take a decision and say, yes, this person should take over the leadership until when I clear myself. But they didn't do that. And that is where the bone of contention is. That's to tell you that there's an ulterior motive. If there have been such a meeting called by the leadership of the party or representative of the party, and INEC is aware, INEC will be there at that particular meeting. You will invite them and say, this is what is happening. Then you settle the matter internally, not going behind the back door, sneaking in like let me not use only different words, sneaking into the party, forcefully entering into the party, breaking the secretary's office, breaking the youth leader's office, cutting away with some documents. Then you have a meeting, then you are gratifying that. What you don't understand is that the opposition who are interested in taking away the mandate of the people are not lying low. And so they sell this particular information to people like him who did not know the other side of the story. I will excuse you and I'll pardon you for not knowing. But now that you know, you are talking about public domain. I just did. This is a television. I'm just making this particular document very much public. So if you do not know, how do you know of the other ones? You said they are in the public domain. So you are acting on instruct of rumors and some of things that are not facts. And we are telling you that these are the factual position of the party. And this is exactly what happened. I, for one, will never gratify anybody that has been found wanting, because my background does not represent that. And I know our principal had done everything possible, humanly possible, to make sure that this particular rift is being settled. And you don't show weakness. When you start, this particular issue started long before now. Remember, our members were denied registration. Remember, our members were being killed. Remember, people paid hard-earned money to ensure that they support this particular movement. Remember that at the point in time, we were almost denied from contesting election. All of this thing happened. In fact, to tell you, probably he doesn't know, in the middle of the court day before yesterday, a gentleman just came and accused Peter Obi of bigotry and religious sentiment. In fact, he accused him of being tribalistic. What happened, you may want to ask me. He said Peter Obi called him. Peter Obi called him day before yesterday and told him that he's going to his workshop and that he should be there. He wants to check some of the things that he was doing. So the man responded that, no, I'm on my way. I can't get to the office in the next 30 minutes or no. Then he said Peter Obi started speaking to him in Igbo. When he started speaking to him in Igbo, the next thing that he said, Peter Obi just hung up on him. He felt very bad, very aggrieved. So he came to the court to challenge Peter Obi. He came to the court to challenge Peter Obi of tribalism. So I was there. And then the next thing I said that, wait, let me call His Excellency. We got in contact with His Excellency. And he now said, please and please, I beg you in the name of God, hold that young man. And do you know the young man, who the young man is? He's the son of the late governor of Kogi State, Abubakar Audu. So he's not somebody from somewhere. And the guy now said, okay, he will wait. Peter Obi, in his natural manner, with compassion and decorum, he came out of the court and said, young man, do I know you? He said, obviously no, sir. Do I have your phone number? He said, no. Did I ever call you? He said, no. He said, but you said I called you. And he said, yes, sir. You called me. He said, no. I just came back from London. Everybody saw the visit of Peter Obi to Dele Momodu's birthday. I was there. I just came back 3 a.m. I just arrived. I couldn't have called you. Even if I called you, I would have called you with a foreign number.
Doctor, I'm glad you
can
have
see.
clarified this, and I'll give you 30 seconds to wrap up because we're running out of time.
Okay, so these are some of the things. So please and please, the next thing that they are going to do is that they are already saying that Peter Obi does not have a local standing or contesting. These are some of the gimmicks of the opposition who know that they have run foul of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are not qualified to run for election, that the election was a sham election. And so therefore they will do everything. They will start picking each and every one of them like a cherry. And once you cave in, then it shows that you are weak. You cannot be able to defend the mandate of the people. So I believe, Oluwadare believe in the Labour Party. If you do, please come back home. Don't stay outside the country so you don't be listening only to what happened on television. There are more facts on the ground than what happened on television and social media, so that you'll be well informed, and then you will get the correction, and then you will help in building the party.
Dr. Yunsat Tanko, thank you so much. We will be following up on this story, and we'll bring you back as the news develops. And to our users, viewers at home, thank you for joining and watching this episode. You can also find our episodes on YouTube. Check Weekend Show NG. You can follow us on social media at Weekend Show NG on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow me at Andy Madike on all social media platforms.
And you can follow me at Didi_ on Instagram and Twitter.
We will continue to give you the information as the news develops, but also please verify and confirm from all sources when you have information. Avoid hate speech and avoid attacking one another because your opinions do not agree. Absolutely. So have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you next week.